Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most surprising and dramatic developments in Eastern Europe, a story that has left Poland in shock and even caught Putin off guard. More than 175,000 Belarusians have abandoned the rule of Alexander Lukashenko and crossed the border into Poland. This event is being described as one of the largest population movements in the region in recent years, and it is not only about numbers but about the deep political, social, and economic consequences that follow such a migration. From the outside perspective, this looks like a dramatic exterior change for both Belarus and Poland. Imagine a wave of people moving across borders in search of a new life. It is not a small stream but a flood that is visible to the whole world. The exterior tells the story of long lines at the border, trains and buses filled with families, students, and workers carrying whatever belongings they can manage. For Poland, the exterior image is equally striking. Towns and cities close to the border have seen an influx of people almost overnight. Streets, schools, and workplaces now carry a mix of languages and faces, turning what once looked like ordinary Polish communities into multicultural hubs that symbolize both the challenge and the opportunity that comes with this movement. When we look inside, the picture becomes even more personal and emotional. Behind the statistics are human beings. These are men and women who left homes, jobs, and in many cases relatives behind. The reasons are clear. Life under Lukashenko's rule has become increasingly repressive and uncertain. Inside Belarus, political dissent is punished, the economy is struggling, and young people feel there is no future if they stay. For families, safety and stability for their children are worth every sacrifice. That is why the interior story of this exodus is short but powerful. It is not about politics on paper but about real people choosing freedom over fear, opportunity over stagnation, and dignity over repression. The performance side of this event is what makes it especially significant on the regional and even global stage. For Poland, the performance aspect shows both strengths and pressures. On one hand, Poland has to absorb a large population in a short period of time. That means more demand for housing, healthcare, education, and employment. It puts immediate strain on infrastructure and local communities. But on the other hand, this migration brings potential benefits. Poland has been facing labor shortages in some sectors, and the arrival of skilled Belarusians could strengthen its economy. For Belarus, the performance has been catastrophic. Losing so many citizens, especially younger and skilled people, means a direct hit to the economy. Businesses lose workers, universities lose students, and the country loses a portion of its future. For Russia, the performance is even more humiliating. Putin has long supported Lukashenko, presenting Belarus as a stable partner in his sphere of influence. But the exodus reveals cracks in that partnership and shows the world that ordinary people no longer believe in the strength or fairness of the system tied to Moscow. Safety is another important aspect of this development. For Poland, safety means more than just border control. It means ensuring that the new arrivals are integrated in a way that protects both them and Polish society. There are questions about how to provide proper healthcare, housing, and employment without creating resentment among local populations. At the same time, Poland must think about broader security. With so many people moving across the border, there is always the concern that spies, provocateurs, or criminal elements could be hiding within the migration wave. For Belarus, the safety concerns are even darker. Those who stay behind live under a government that is growing more paranoid and repressive. Speaking out or even being suspected of wanting to leave can bring punishment. For Russia, safety is connected to its image of control. Every person leaving Belarus represents a tiny fracture in the wall of security that Putin tries to project, making the entire region less stable. What makes this entire situation unique are the factors that separate it from other examples of migration. First is the sheer scale and speed. 175,000 people in a relatively short time is not an ordinary event, it is a mass exodus. Second is the symbolism. This is not just about moving for jobs or better wages. It is a statement against Lukashenko's regime, a silent vote of no confidence delivered not through ballots but through footsteps across the border. Third, it highlights the shifting balance of power in Europe. Poland suddenly finds itself not only as a neighbor but as a frontline state, carrying the responsibility of absorbing people fleeing authoritarianism and showing the world how the West responds to those searching for freedom. The price of this development is also a major point to consider. For Poland, the financial cost runs into billions. Housing projects, healthcare services, schools, and job training programs all require funding. There is also the political cost, since hosting such a large number of newcomers may create tensions within Polish society. For Belarus, the price is much more painful in the long run. Every doctor, engineer, student, and skilled worker who leaves is a loss to the nation's capacity to rebuild and grow. For Russia, the price is paid in credibility. Putin has positioned himself as a leader whose allies are stable and loyal. The exodus shows the opposite, that even with heavy control, people will find ways to escape and that loyalty cannot be forced forever. When we bring all of these aspects together, the conclusion becomes clear. What we are witnessing is not just migration but a turning point in the political history of Eastern Europe. Poland is shocked because of the sudden responsibility and challenge placed on its shoulders. Belarus is weakened because the very people who could have built its future are leaving in massive numbers. Russia and Putin are stunned because the exodus exposes the fragility of their influence in the region. The story is powerful because it is both human and political, personal and global. It shows us that people, when pushed to the limit, will always choose freedom, dignity, and opportunity over repression and fear, no matter how high the price. This development is still unfolding and the consequences will be felt for years to come. Will Poland successfully integrate these new arrivals and turn challenge into strength? Will Belarus continue to lose more of its population until change becomes inevitable? And will Russia find a way to reassert control, or will this be remembered as the moment when its grip started to weaken? These are the questions that will define the next chapter. Thank you for staying with us through this deep dive into one of the most important stories of the moment. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next analysis of the events shaping our world.